Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Mezco Toyz 112 Collective Special Ops Punisher figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
And a quick look at the front of the box. That was the back of the box and the opening. Not much going on here. Plastic is still on. Let's bust this bad boy open. Alright, so I've got the Mezco Toyz Special Ops Punisher out of the package. This is a figure that broke the internet a month or so back when it went up on Mezco's site. The site crashed. That was the first time I ever saw that happen. And Punisher didn't have to show his butt or balance a glass on his ass or anything like that. This is, I will say this, if this figure is pretty much what you would expect if you've got any of the other Punishers, but I don't think that this should be your first Mezco Punisher. I mean, if you don't have a choice and you weren't around or weren't able to snag any of the others, and you get this guy, cool, because he does come with some great accessories and some things that haven't been released previously, but I don't think it's going to really quench your thirst as far as having a regular sort of street version of Punisher. As I said in the title, this is the Special Ops version. His outfit is a little different. It's not really like streetwear, sort of like a tactical suit. But again, the accessories that he comes with are very cool. And Punisher is absolutely Mezco's best figure that they've released, in my personal opinion. And this is probably our 6th Punisher from Mezco, if I'm not mistaken. Or this might be 5, and then the Netflix version that's coming out may be 6. Help me out in the comments, or maybe some things will be flashing up on the screen. I'll figure it out by the time I get to editing this video. But again, it's a cool figure, but I think that if you've never received one, you should probably try to hunt one of the regular versions down. But I'm going to break out a little prop table here so I can lay out all his accessories and go over everything and show you what's what, do some swaps, and get the hell out of here. Alright, so this particular version of Punisher was one that I got from SDCC 2018 this past weekend. But like I mentioned, the figure did go up on sale on Mezco's site maybe a little over a month ago. And some people were able to pre-order it then. But anybody who was out at San Diego Comic-Con and was lucky enough to attend preview night or the following day, which was Thursday, may have been able to snag one of these early. So out of the package, he comes with 2 fisted hands, and then he's got a set of open grabby hands. These we've seen before. And then he's got these 2 hands, which we've seen before as well. Obviously, he'll need this left hand that is semi-open and cupped so he can support some of his larger weapons. And then this hand, I believe, is sort of for like a strike, like a sort of open hand, sort of finger tucked in strike. I said that in the very first review of Punisher that I did, and I believe that's what's going on there. Then of course he comes with a double set of trigger finger hands, and I went ahead and put the pistol in his hand. I'll go over all the weapons. I'm gonna spread them out on the table like I said, but never any issue with the Mezco figures holding their weapons. All of the hands are softer material and pliable, softer pliable plastic, so you can easily get the weapons into his hand. It looks good, it looks authentic. And, you know, no issues there. So that's pretty much all of the hardware he's packed in, with a few extra props here just for some dramatic effect and for some staging, I guess. Here, you know, we on that ACBA life. I do have an extra couple of heads to show and a couple different muzzle flares that they've never done. But I'll go over all of the weapons one by one. He's got the pistol, which you already saw. To me, this looks like it's a Glock, and no issues with this one. It looks good. And like with most Mezco figures that come with guns, the magazines for those guns are removable, so you can see the magazine there in his left hand, and you can see where the magazine was removed from the butt of the gun. And there is an extra magazine for the pistol, so obviously that adds some great playability and fun factor to these figures. And then he's also packed in with 4 of these grenades that you see in his left hand, and he's got a submachine gun. I guess that's a MAC-10. I believe somebody had corrected me one time. I said it was a Uzi, but yeah, I think that's a MAC-10, and something that we've never seen before. They've got the silencer on the MAC-10, which is great. And look at this. The silencer is removable, as is the magazine for the MAC-10. So same thing there, and you also get an additional magazine for the gun. I do really like that they put the packed in the silencer with this. This is dope. So that's real cool. No issue swapping out anything. Everything looks really good, looks authentic. I don't have any issues at all with this stuff. And this is always a treat when they pack in a little muzzle flare effect, but not only did they pack in one, but they packed in three. The third of which I'll get into as we get into some of the bigger weapons, but they packed in two of the regular size one, which can be plugged right into the front of any of the weapons here. So you can do it for the MAC-10 with the silencer on, which looks dope, or you can take the silencer off and you can still plug it into the MAC-10, which is also dope. And if you look really closely, you can see the bullet there right at the front of the flare. And again, this adds to the realism, to the fun factor, to the playability, the posability. And obviously you can use this with the pistol as well. 1 second. So you can have them double wielding with two muzzle flares. And I mean, if you've gotten any of the Punishers before this, you could do that because they all came with at least one muzzle flare, I believe. Yes, they all did. So yeah, you could have done this before, but if this is your first Punisher, then you coming out the gate with some great hardware and some great effects. And I should have showed this first actually before I got into the weapons, but he comes with his trusty knife here, which looks good, black with the silver blade, and the knife can actually be holstered on this back of his utility belt here, so that can go in there. I'll get that in. And it should be noted that this is a separate piece. It can be removed like the utility belts of the past. And I might as well give you a good look at his suit while the utility belt is off, so you can see he's got the thugged out onesie. But you know, this is all like a sort of mesh. It's some great texture in here, some great materials. This is sort of like leather on the knees and the straps here. And this is textured. It feels good, and it definitely seems like you'll be able to move him a little better than some of the other Punishers that have the hard vest, whereas this is sort of like a faux vest. It's not really a vest at all. I don't know if they want this to be considered a vest or if it's just design on his costume. I think it's just the design. I don't think they wanted this to be a vest, because you can definitely still get the hard vest over this. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is just a design, but it looks pretty cool. Every time I see this guy, I think motorcycle though. I think he should have been maybe packed in with a motorcycle and they could have really did like a deluxe version. But he's got the white boots, the white gloves, the white skull emblem, and yeah, not bad there. And there he is with the belt back on and the knife sheathed. And moving right along with the weapons check, he's got his assault rifle, which is something we've seen before. The magazine on this is removable. You do have an extra magazine, and then you also have grenades for the grenade launcher on here. And I believe that you can work with this slide here. Yes, you can. So you can actually put the grenades in the launcher and work the slide and put it back as well. If I could get this in there right, that'd be great. So yeah, and you could work the slide. So again, more authenticity. It looks really good. You can get them aiming right, which I'll do in a sec. And with a little posing practice, you can get them aiming right. You can even get them looking down the sights and really make things look good. It'll take a little bit of practice and a little bit of work as far as this costume goes, but you can definitely do it. And just like I mentioned, you can still use the muzzle flare for this weapon as well. Of course, you're going to need it for the big guns. And boom, my phone's going off, but moving right along. And then he's also packed in with a rocket launcher here, which is something we've seen before. I don't know if we've seen it in all black like this. We got a rocket launcher with the PX Punisher. We got one with Deadpool, if I'm not mistaken. I think there was one packed in with the black suited version of Deathstroke as well. But this looks good. You can see some different colors and some different textures. There is no rocket. I don't think they've ever packed in a rocket with the rocket launcher, but it looks authentic. I don't really see any issues with it. And just giving you a good look at some of the paint on the rocket launcher. And before we get into his final weapon, I just want to take a look at the head sculpts that he comes packed in with. So this was the neutral face that he had straight out of the package. And this is something that we've seen before. I think the eye, the left eye, is a little bit off on this though. Looks a little bit cockeyed, but you can see some little scars. Got his hair slicked back. It's got the slight 5 o'clock shadow. Paintwork and everything here still looks good, but I do think that eye is a little bit off. And then he's got the angry, screaming face version, which also looks very good, but that eye might still be a little off. These look better. These eyes look better though. And finally, the masked version. I mean, doesn't this scream motorcycle rider or bank robber or something? This is cool. I think this was probably one of the main attractions for a lot of people. Once they saw this mask, they wanted to try it on different characters or in different Punishers, which I'll get into. Now, I do not have the Deathstroke figure in all black. I know a lot of people wanted to see that. I'm pretty sure my man Ed did that, so I'll show a picture of that. And that does look very cool. So you can see how that looks. But this is dope. You can see some scrapes and scratches, and the texture here is really nice, but even the eye on this one I think is a little bit off as well. That left eye, I don't know what's going on, but again, you can see some little battle damage, some little scrapes and scratches. I really do like this mask, and I'm eager to try it with other Punishers that we've received. But moving right along, let's get into his final weapon. And I don't think this is something that we've received before with any figure. He's got the minigun here. This reminds me of Predator, some other movies where they've broken out this massive killing machine. Americans and our guns, man. We love some guns, don't we? But yeah, this looks really good. I wonder if it spins. No, it doesn't. But gonna take some finagling for you to get this right as far as how he holds it with both hands and getting it lined up right and making it look authentic. You're definitely gonna have to play around with this, with the posability a bit to make it look good. But they also included the bullet chain or chain of bullets or whatever you would call this here, and it looks like it plugs in right here on the side. Let's see. And I switched up the hands, used both trigger finger hands. You can see the bullets there, and the way those sit, the way they hang is actually pretty good. So that looks very cool. I like that a lot. He comes with this sort of triple shot muzzle flare here, and I'm assuming that this was packed in for this particular weapon, being that it shoots so many rounds per minute. But I assume that you could use it with the other smaller guns too. I'll try that. But you can see the bullets there at the front. And this is official tissue right here. Definitely get some crazy gunfights and explosions and whatnot going with this. And he's got one more accessory that I actually forgot. He's packed in with this little duffel bag, which is super authentic. It's got the Velcro here for the strap that you can take apart, and it even comes with a working zipper. My man fell over, but it even comes with a working zipper, so you can actually put items in here to actually make it look super official and make it look like there's stuff in there, and weigh it down, put it on his back. So I'll do that. You can actually hold that with no assistance. He's actually gripping the bag and standing up on his own. And you can sling it over one shoulder. I've got pretty much all of his accessories and extra hands and stuff in the bag just to weigh it down a bit. Aside from the two larger weapons, the minigun and the rocket launcher still on the table. But you can sling it over one shoulder. You see, I put the mask back on him. But yeah, this all looks really cool, man. And just real quick, going over the articulation. Head is on a ball joint, gonna look down, gonna look up. The head moves independently of the neck, left to right, full 360, you get a little pivot. Shoulders are on a ball joint. You get a really nice range of motion in this suit, so the shoulders will come up far. You could do a full 360, but I wouldn't recommend it because you don't want to stress the suit here. But there is an upper bicep swivel. You can actually get a double jointed elbow. You get a swivel and a hinge on the wrist. You get a decent ab crunch going forward and back. You do get some waist articulation and some upper torso articulation. His legs are going to come up about that far. Split will come out really far. You get an upper thigh swivel. You get a double jointed knee. You get rotation at the upper boot. You get rotation at the foot. You get a hinge and a pivot on the foot. I do wish the pivot on the foot was a little deeper, but considering he's got the onesie and he's not really hindered by a vest, you do get a decent range of motion on this guy. And here's a size comparison with other Punishers that have been released. These are all the Punishers that I own. I passed up on the other ones. I never really wanted the comic-based version that had the white boots and gloves similar to this new one. I never got the Toy Fair exclusive, which was similar to the regular release. It just had an all-black vest. On the right here is the original regular release with the vest from the PX Previews version, which is on the far left. The PX Previews version came with the red vest, so you could kind of simulate him as a Thunderbolts member, I guess, and that matches up really nicely with Deadpool. But obviously you can mix and match and do whatever you want as far as the utility belts go and the vest. And I'll play around with the coat real quick. So there's the coat and the mask for the PX Previews version. And that looks okay. That looks pretty cool. That's an option. And there's the coat and the mask on this newer version. I like the way that looks. I like the way the black and white looks. But again, obviously you could swap out this utility belt and put the smaller one on, or put one of the black ones on. But I like this black and white right now. I really do like this look a lot. I'm telling you, all he's missing is a motorcycle. And there's the regular release with the original vest that he came with the mask from the Special Ops version. And I like that with the all black shirt and pants and boots with just a hint of black and white there. And I think that looks killer. And I'm not going to do it right now, but I'll show it on my Instagram or something like that. Putting a jacket on this with the all black will probably look official. So, I mean, you got a lot of different options if you've picked up some of the other Punishers. This is why I said it's kind of whack if this is your first Punisher. But if not, then you can definitely do your grown man doll play and really do a lot of swaps. And not to mention that you've got a ton of weapons as well now, too. So you can definitely start your little Punisher armory. And this just really adds to the fun factor and the playability. Alright, I gotta get up out of here. Dope figure for the accessories alone, but it leaves a bit to be desired if you don't have any of the previous Punishers, because you're gonna want to do more. You're gonna want to play with this guy more. You're gonna want to have more options. So you should absolutely jump on the Netflix Punisher that's going to be coming out, just to give you some other options. You can easily swap on the comic-based head onto the Netflix body and just give you some more playability there. If you can still get this guy and you don't have to pay an arm and a leg, then I'd recommend that you do that. But if you have to pay scalper prices or overpriced secondary market prices, then I wouldn't recommend it. But this is one that I definitely like. I'm happy to have him. And thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.